Yo guys, Phil here with BLP3 Motors, and today I'm with my buddy Matt, and we are in his 2018 Honda Civic SI. This is the first SI on the channel. I'm pretty pumped about it. I'm pretty excited.
There's a Viper.
Oh, well, we're not gonna be able to get that on camera. That's a bummer, guys. There's a Viper right there. But we are, where are we right now?
Lake Overholser in Bethany, Oklahoma.
Awesome. So right now we are taking a look at this vehicle, and this is pretty different from Sora. But man, the SI. So tell me about it.
It's a Civic. It's a fast Civic.
Yeah.
It's not the fastest Civic, but it's pretty great. It's a good handling, quick car with great gas mileage.
So for the price point, why did you pick this car?
A few years ago, whenever I heard they were coming back out with the SI and it was turboed, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then when I saw it in a G and blue, I totally had flashbacks to the what was it, 99 2000 SI in Electron Blue Pearl, which was the first Honda that made me think, oh man, I would drive that Honda.
Right on.
And it just happened to be time for me to get a new car. I was driving an HHR, and it was on its last legs, and so I was like, well, I'm gonna get a new car. And I was initially looking at stuff just kind of a little bit cheaper because I wanted to reduce the payments we had been making.
Yeah.
But after looking at a few things, and my wife kept saying, oh, I don't like this or I don't like that, she finally said, why don't you just pick something that you really want? And so I immediately got online and looked to see if Fowler had any SIs. We had bought my wife's Fit from them, and they were pretty great to deal with. And sure enough, they had just listed this car, and it was the 4-door, which I need because I have kids.
Right.
And it was a color I wanted.
Yeah.
And I think they literally had just listed it that day.
Wow.
And so I sent them an email, and this was in the evening, probably 8 or 9 o'clock, and they called me the next morning and said, well, we don't actually have the car. It just came into our inventory.
Right.
It's on a truck right now. Do you want us to call you when it comes in? And I said, heck yeah.
Yeah.
And they called me, that was on a Monday, I think, and then they called me on Wednesday and said, okay, it's here. And I told them I wasn't getting off work until 7, and it'd be probably 8 before I'm there.
Yeah.
But they said, hey, that's great. That gives us time to prep it, and you can test drive it. And I got there and test drove it. I put it had 5 miles on it when I test drove it, and when I went and picked it up, I put like maybe 10 or 15 miles on it, and then they got a few more on it, and I've put every mile on it since. But
that's all she wrote, huh?
Yeah, it worked out really well.
Hey, so a couple questions.
Sure.
So now, are all the SIs manual, or is there automatic as well?
Yes, you can only get them with the 6-speed, which is awesome, because the only other transmission they have, if they did like a dual clutch or something, I guess that'd be pretty rad. I'd be all right with an automatic, but they don't. They just have the CVT.
Oh wow!
And that just there goes the camera.
that took the turn really nice.
Yeah, they handle great. It has a limited slip differential, and so it doesn't really handle like a front wheel drive car at all. Right. I wouldn't say it handles like a rear wheel drive car necessarily, but it's just kind of in this weird spot between the two.
I'll tell you what, one thing I'm really pleased to see, this has the big touchscreen on it.
It does. I like it for the most part. I wish it was running a more current version of Android. It's stuck on 4.2, and I doubt we ever see anything past that. Yeah. It's a little slow. I think they could have gone a little bit better with it, but for what it is, it works great.
To be honest, I mean, it's no secret that I'm not a big fan of the Honda infotainment system. It's just, compared to other infotainment systems that I've worked with, I just feel like it's not as good, and Honda kind of strikes me as a little bit of a techie company.
You would think, right? They're Japanese and such. You'd think they'd have like really good tech, and it's not bad tech. It's just, it's adequate.
I mean, and so some people will, shoot me some snide remarks here, but I've had the best experience with the Dodge, Ram, Chrysler infotainment system. The Uconnect 8.4 has been an amazing system to work with.
I have zero experience with new Dodges, so I could not comment on that.
But so one thing I'm also pleased to see too is the steering wheel. Is that leather wrapped?
Yes.
Okay, that's definitely not in the EX model that I had. No, no. That is a nice touch.
It is, but I wish they would have done there's other parts of the car where they were less awesome with the material they used, like the sandpaper they used on the armrest. I don't know if the EX was like that or not.
It did have that.
Oh, it's pretty bad. But the steering wheel's super nice. It has a good feel to it.
Yeah.
Nothing better than dead cow.
Dude, I really love the seats, the SI stitching in the seats, and like they just look really freaking cool. It kind of just gives the car that much more.
Makes it look a little bit more than just a regular Civic.
Yeah. And I'm digging the sunroof. That's a nice thing. So for me, it feels like this is literally a manual EX minus the hatchback.
Yeah, well, the SI has generally always been based on the EX. It was an EX, but with some extra sportiness added to it.
Right. I'm going to preference the EX model for the hatchback, not the EX sedan. Right?
Well, in general. Like I know, going back to the first SI that caught my attention, that was just an EX coupe that they added the few extra sport things to. And I know pretty much since then, if not before then, the SI has always just been the little bit extra on top of the EX trim, because the EX was generally the highest trim you could get. It would have the most options and stuff. And the SI would have all that stuff, plus some extra horsepower and a limited slip and whatnot.
One thing I've also noticed and seen now, I've sat in almost all the models of the Civics. So the LX and the EX have the blue entertainment system.
Oh, right.
And then the Sport and now the SI and the Type R have the red screen.
Oh, so the Sport has red as well?
Yeah.
And of course, this is only if I turn off Sport mode, it goes back to just kind of a regular, except, you know, the outline is red, but I mean, it gets really red whenever you turn
the
it on
entire
Sport.
Speedometer
is
blue, and it's really bright.
Were your needles blue also for the fuel and stuff?
Everything was blue. And I liked it, but I wish that you could change colors.
I do too, because as much as I like the red, and it's always been kind of the accent color for the SI or for sport model Hondas in general, I wish it was blue just to match the outside of the car.
Yeah, man. So how many miles have you put on it, and how long have you owned the car?
I bought it at the very end of March, like a few days before the end of March this year.
Okay.
So May, June, July. I've had it like 5 months almost, or 4.5 months, and I'm 5260 miles on it. It's actually I've done a mile's worth of miles.
That's crazy. And so with my EX, I had it for a year and a half, and I put 37,000 miles on it.
Woo!
Yeah.
Well, you also commuted between Shawnee and Edmond, so that'll do it.
But I'm really surprised with this vehicle. This vehicle takes turns so well, way better than my EX.
It's because of the limited slip.
It has a limited slip?
It does.
Oh, right on.
I know all the SIs, at least since the late 90s, have had it. I'm not sure if like the CRX SI had one or not, but that's kind of been one of the things that's always separated the SIs from the other models.
Right.
But it makes a huge difference in how well it handles.
Oh my goodness. It took that turn. I don't know if you guys hear the tires squealing in the back, but we took that. How fast did we take that turn?
35.
That's not bad. And you know, so if
and that's
you guys,
on the crappy all-season tires too.
Yeah.
I didn't get the good ones. The only option you could get with the new SIs is whether or not you wanted summer tires or all seasons.
Right. So if you guys have been watching the channel, I did a review with a Type R, and we took some pretty gnarly turns in that. I mean, that thing was basically like surgical precision turning, and it was so smooth. Now the thing with the SI that I'm really liking, because we've done a couple of these turns, is that you get a lot of attitude in the back, you know, and I actually kind of like that driving experience a little more now that we're actually doing it, because it feels like you're talking to the car more and the car's talking back to you.
I will say, I don't know because I wasn't there whenever you were driving with Nick, but it could be I have my traction control fully turned off right now.
Okay.
And if he had his on, that would totally change the way the car would feel around corners.
Okay.
And in fact, if I was to turn mine off and do one of those corners, it would probably feel totally different to you. But you know, they have to have all the 80 software in the cars nowadays to keep people that shouldn't be driving fun cars, who are driving fun cars, from hurting themselves.
So 0 to 60 off the line, you think my Ram could take this SI?
I don't think you would have anywhere near a chance to take this thing.
I think that we're gonna have to visit that someday just for some kicks.
Well, Oklahoma's pretty close to Mexico, so it shouldn't be too big of a trip to get down there and find out.
We will find a very discreet place in Mexico to do a little little race. But hey guys, I appreciate you guys for watching. Man, I appreciate you guys for letting us hang out. I know your family, you got dinner going on and all that stuff, and just taking your time today to hang out with us. Guys,
thank for the internet.
Yeah, and if you guys have not already liked this video, make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe if you're new, and we're going to do a couple more of these videos down the line. I'm really liking it. If you guys are liking the SI build and want to see more videos, let us know in the comments section. But love you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.